addressing a public rally at Kannauj, the first Prime Minister to have visited there. But now quickly shifting our focus to what's happening in Tamil Nadu. Ordered by the Supreme Court to surrender immediately, Sasikala is now driving down from Chennai to Bengaluru, where she will be jailed. On the way, she stopped at the Jayalalitha Memorial at Marina Beach and made what the party called a mighty vow. To secure her position and to rein in via her proxy, Sasikala has re-inducted her nephew Dinakaran and appointed him as the Deputy General Secretary of the AIADMK. Her loyalist Palanisamy, meanwhile, awaits to prove his majority to the governor in the floor of the House. In fact, breaking news now coming in from Tamil Nadu. AIADMK's organizing secretary Pandian has resigned. In fact, he has tendered his resignation. So a big split there. The fissures are out in the open in the AIADMK camp. This comes shortly after Sasikala re-inducted her own kin into the party. So big piece of breaking news there coming out of Chennai, where we now know that Pandian has resigned. In fact, for more on the development, I am joined by my colleague Vaishnavi from Chennai. Vaishnavi, take us through people who had actually been sacked by Amma have been backed by Chinnamma. They are back in the AIADMK fold. So are we then seeing the first signs of fallout, so to say?
Well, that's right. In fact, today morning when Sasikala actually appointed T.T. Dinakaran as the Deputy General Secretary of the party, it raised several eyebrows. People, in fact, were shocked with this decision, considering the fact that he was a person who was expelled by Jayalalitha. She did not like either, any of the family members of Sasikala, and this was back in 2011. And now Sasikala actually appointing him as the Deputy General Secretary of the party raised a lot of questions. It seems like, it actually proves the fact that probably Sasikala only trusts the family members, her own members, and that she has appointed him so that, he can be a proxy while she is going to serve her sentence in jail. T.T. Dinakaran probably can take the entire role of almost the head of the party, and that's the reason why it seems Sasikala has appointed. So it has not gone down well among a lot of sections of the people. However, we'll only have to wait and see whether it is going to have any implications, because this decision actually has become an advantage for O. Selvam, considering the fact that now he is going to only rally on the point that
but this is being interpreted in political circles as the first signs of revolt that are coming in with reference to the decision that Sasikala Natarajan has taken, because these are the very people, her kin, who were shunned by Jayalalitha, but now they are firmly back in the saddle.
Well, that's right. In 2011, Jayalalitha had expelled them from the party, including Sasikala. But Sasikala, of course, after a few months, had come back after writing an apology letter to Jayalalitha. But she had also promised that she won't stay in touch with any of the family members. But here we see clearly, since Jayalalitha's death, all of them have played a role. T.T. Dinakaran was there during the final riots with Sasikala. He was there also when Sasikala was actually, Sasikala had become the General Secretary. That time also he was the first person to reach her residence. So all, of course, all these developments only prove that Sasikala trusts T.T. Dinakaran, trusts only the family members, and that's the reason why she has appointed him. Somewhere, of course, a lot of people, especially Jayalalitha supporters, are not very happy is what we are understanding, because Jayalalitha did not like any of these family members.
In fact, Vaishnavi, request you to stay on with us, because let's also quickly get in a report that our colleague Jayaprakash has filed from the prison, where Chinnamma will now have to spend the remaining 3 years.
Even as AIADMK General Secretary Sasikala prepares for her epic journey from Madras to Bangalore, the 350-kilometer journey, Bengaluru is preparing, especially the Parapnagrara. This is the very premises where she is going to land in few hours from now. She will be entering these premises, the 36th Civil and Sessions Court, the special court where the CBI judge Ashwath Narayana will receive her. The locks are on and the police have cleared the area, they've cleaned up the premises and it will be soon open. Once she lands here, she enters this trial court and surrenders. From here, she will be remanded to the Parapnagarara Central Prisons, which is opposite to this court.
Sasikala has got some good qualities. She's a strong Hindu that I'm impressed with. She has shown this last 1 week that she is capable of managing the party, and all the MLAs are still with her. Paneerselvam, being chief minister, has got nothing, and despite 2 ministers from the center helping him, he's got nothing. So therefore, I think she would, in the long run, she won't, she has other options which will develop after some time has passed.
So, essentially, there the journey has begun. Sasikala is on her way to Bangalore from Chennai, a 350-kilometer long journey. But let's also bring in our colleague Vaishnavi once again into the broadcast. Vaishnavi, as we were discussing, as you were reporting, that the decisions that Sasikala Natarajan took over the last 2 days, especially the ones that included induction of her own kin into the AIADMK rank and file, possibly has not gone down well with the party leaders. Now, what next? Is this then being seen or interpreted as advantage Paneerselvam? Are leaders now likely to jump ship, considering the fact that firmly Sasikala has placed her proxies in the driving seat?
Well, that's right. It seems like this is going to be an advantage for O. Paneerselvam, because that's the only point rather that he advantage for O. Paneerselvam, because that's the only point rather that he could rally on. He could say that, Jayalalitha did not like these relatives of Sasikala. He was expelled, and the very same person actually is being brought in again and inducted as, appointed as the Deputy General Secretary, which is one of the highest positions in the party. So, Paneerselvam is going to obviously talk about this point and try to gain confidence of the MLAs and try to, poach more MLAs to his camp. But then also, this significant, announcement has led to Pandyan's resignation. Karpasamy Pandyan, the organizing committee secretary, he has also resigned, and this is just within few hours after Dinakaran was appointed as Deputy General Secretary, though he hasn't announced as to whether or not he is going to join the OPS camp. But clearly, it seems like, there is some kind of a disappointment, and likely that he would actually join the OPS camp. So here we see that there is definitely an advantage for O. Paneerselvam, but his numbers are very, very low. He has only 11 MLAs.
Well, that's right, Vaishnavi. Everything essentially boils down to
like
numbers. Request you to stay on with us, because we are now also joined by our colleague Jai Prakash, who's standing by in front of the Bengaluru jail, which is going to be Sasikala's home for the next few years. Jai Prakash, just give us an idea of this particular jail, this Agrahara jail in Bengaluru. The unexpected names have been brought back in the AIADMK fold by Sasikala. The governor still not calling for a floor test. How does this play out then?
Well, for the last week or so, we have seen that Tamil Nadu governor is very much at play when it comes to politics and the kind of politics that we are seeing in Tamil Nadu. Never before have we seen a split in AIADMK and factions in AIADMK. It was throughout Amma, and only she controlled. Even in fact, when we spoke to local politicians here, they have come to know a lot of new names from the AIADMK party cadre who has been speaking to the media. In fact, when she was there, when Amma was there, it was only Jayalalitha and only her decisions, and she was the only visible face of the party. And now, all of a sudden, over a dozen AIADMK leaders have emerged. In fact, what has happened in the last 10 days is the breakaway factions of OPS, and slowly 1 to 2 to about 8 MLAs now supporting, apart from 10 AIADMK MPs who are now in OPS camp. It all depends on how the governor views it and takes it forward. Will he call for floor test, or he's going to ask the party leaders to give him letters with consent and signatures. So if that happens, there are chances that the governor may call Palaniswamy to take oath as chief minister. If he pushes for floor test, then there will be a lot of hectic lobbying and time to Paneerselvam to pull more AIADMK leaders from the party to his camp.
Well, that's right. In fact, Jayaprakash, as you are pointing out, all eyes are now fixed at the Raj Bhavan in Chennai. Let's get in Vaishnavi's inputs on this. Vaishnavi, as Jayaprakash has been reporting and something that we have been closely following, the developments in Chennai, essentially it hinges on number crunching. Who has the numbers? But before that, the governor has to call for a composite floor test. So any word that is expected out of the Raj Bhavan, because there was one school of thought which suggested that probably the governor was waiting for the conviction or for the judgment of the Supreme Court, and now that Sasikala has been convicted, the ball is clearly in his court.
Well, that's right. You know, it looked like the governor was waiting for Sasikala's conviction, rather the Supreme Court's order. And once, you know, even after the order had come out, we expected that he would actually release an official statement last night, but that did not happen. It looks like probably today afternoon or by evening, there will be some kind of a statement that will come from the Raj Bhavan. However, we'll have to only wait and see. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be a long wait, in fact, because remember, the governor has not been taking any kind of decision on this since the last 1 week, and now that Sasikala has actually surrendered as well today morning, ideally the governor, all eyes rather is on the governor, and he's supposed to be giving a decision now as to whether or not they should go for a floor test, or is he going to give a chance to Palanisamy to swear in as the chief minister. All that decision is awaited, which will actually decide the politics
Well,
of
that's
Tamil
right.
Nadu.
Multiple options there before the governor. We are still waiting for a word from the Raj Bhavan there. Request you, Vaishnavi, to stay on with us. Let's quickly listen into some political reactions that have been coming in.
This is really not a crime of, say, murder or something. It's corruption. It's a serious matter. It's against the nation. But at the same time, people who are corrupt can also be reformed. And so the court's always looking for that. And so consequently, these are things which the legal advisors of Sasikala have to think of. I will, after, see, listen, there's no document or something. I can get their air tickets and show that they've been to Chennai how many times and where do they have own property. Those are irrelevant things. The issue is I must talk to them and ask them straightforward that this is where you met and this is what you said, this is what you advised Mr. Paneerselvam, and you have made him commit suicide. Why did you do it? Now once I get a confirmation, then I'll tell you.
The crisis created, which is in Tamil Nadu can be resolved only through a floor test. And the earliest decision to convene the assembly is the best decision. And the governor should go for that. He need not wait for the order from Delhi. Governor as a constitutional head, he can take a decision. He should have taken, and now at least immediately to convene the assembly and do the floor test. That is the final answer to the crisis.
Whatever they have mentioned, these things also, Sasikala must have told, yes, I only did it. There is no role by Jayalalitha. Because as she told about all the other things that she was responsible for everything, and this also, the scam, that what she should say is, I only responsible, I only did everything. But she has not told it, but the court has made it very specific. So I am happy the culprit, they have been booked.
The court, I don't think the court has set any time limit. So she has to surrender at the earliest. Judgment has come yesterday. According to me, she should surrender today so that the judgment is complied with.
She has no business delaying being arrested anymore, you know. She got a grace period of several months when the Supreme Court, the Karnataka High Court went to the Supreme Court and, you know, a few months ago. So she had better surrender herself and, you know, let her be in prison and let her serve the remaining nearly 3.5 years in prison. That's what she should do. She should not defy the Supreme Court anymore.
Well, multiple reactions there coming in on this developing story from Tamil Nadu. But getting in Vaishnavi once again. Vaishnavi, you have been standing outside Paneerselvam's residence. So any word there on possible movement of Paneerselvam? What is happening there behind closed doors? Vaishnavi, if my voice is going through, I was asking you as to if there is any movement as far as the Paneerselvam camp goes. Are they trying, have they engaged in back channel talks to get in more MLAs into their fold? In fact, we'll try and connect with Vaishnavi in just a bit, but there is the big story that is coming out of Tamil Nadu, where essentially all eyes continue to be fixed at the Raj Bhavan. We are still awaiting a statement there. But for now, let's quickly also shift our focus to the Supreme Court, where our colleague Abhimanyu Sharma is standing by. Abhimanyu joins us live from the Supreme Court now. Abhimanyu, coming to you this morning, what did the court observe while refusing to admit Sasikala's petition?
Well, indeed, it is a setback for Sasikala as far as her petition is concerned. Of course, it was not even admitted before the Supreme Court when it was mentioned before the bench by her lawyer, senior advocate KTS Tulsi. When he was listing the reasons of filing the petition, he had stated that whenever a trial court or a high court order is set aside, a convict gets time to surrender, to which the bench clearly replied that already the judgment has been delivered and no further orders would be issued in this regard. Also, it was clarified by the bench and categorically stated that immediately meant immediately, and that is something which was specified categorically in the judgment by the apex court. So clearly the road ahead seems to be bumpy for Sasikala as far as her petition is concerned, since her petition seeking a reprieve to surrender and seeking some time has been categorically rejected by the Supreme Court.
Right. Abhimanyu, I was just asking you that, what does the road ahead now signify for Sasikala, because the Supreme Court has clearly turned down her petition?
Well, absolutely. There is an option for Sasikala to file a review petition before the apex court, but it remains to be seen whether at all it would be considered for hearing or not, since several legal experts whom we spoke in course of hearing of several cases, and also in course after the judgment was delivered yesterday, they had stated that whether at all a review petition would be admitted or not is something that depends on the court. And it's very unlikely that normally review petitions are not admitted that easily as other petitions are. So of course she will have to cite certain reasons or certain bases and grounds for her review petition to be admitted. And as far as the view of the bench till now is concerned, of course it seems quite unlikely that any review petition would be considered in the light of the facts which have been considered till now. So of course there is legally still a route available to her, which seems quite unlikely that she might be able to exercise that or not. But as of now, she'll have to surrender immediately, and there's no getting away from that. And that has been stated categorically by the Supreme Court today.
Well, thanks Abhimanyu for your inputs. Keep tracking the developments there in case a review petition is filed.